Hello. And today we're with Reverend Donna and myself, Dr. Deb. And Donna and I were talking about just all the anxiety and the stress and the craziness in our world and how we're witnessing it. And if you're an empath, boy, are you going to feel it. And you need to question whether it's yours or everybody else's in the environment. Times are really crazy, especially a week away from the election. So, Donna, I'm going to ask you what
Mhm.
guidance or advice you can give to the listeners. How do we deal with this anxiety? And what do you do when you're suffering crisis or just feeling, oh, and how do you just recenter?
Well, hi, everyone, and hi, Deb. It's such a great topic for us to have an insight with because we all have to deal with it. No one's gets a pass. We're all part of a greater group. We're part of humanity. We're part of frequencies and energies that are aggravating and probably exasperating our own personal anxieties too. So I think you're right. We have to look and say, why am I anxious today? Why is this happening? And noting it is one of your first signs of changing it. But I like to talk about the peace that passes human understanding. And
Mm.
that to me gives me a lot of calmness just thinking about that, because what it's saying is that we can go past anxiety. We don't have to know how that's going to solve. We don't know how to let go, and we don't have to control that. And passing through our own limited human understanding is to say we're receiving peace from the higher self, from the Holy Spirit. That God part in us is going to bring us peace no matter circumstance. That to me is power, because it tells me we don't have to just kind of float along with where everything else is taking us, like some kind of a wind tossed leaf. Rather, we can access that peace within us that goes past what our mind is trying to tell us, what our emotions are trying to yell at us, and we can quiet it with that peace from the higher self.
So let me ask you this. Have you had a circumstance in your life where you actually had to do it? Can you tell us a personal story?
I will. First of all, I'm going to say there's a lot of them, because people think that when we're spiritually led and we're trying to help others, that somehow we're carved away from that. But truly, we each have our own lessons in life. We have our own challenges. So these are just tools we're using to get through them. Many people don't know this, Deb, because I haven't really shared it, but I've gone through my own medical crises, and I've had two brain surgeries.
Mm.
Now, I can tell you, stepping into that place of saying, I'm going to have to relinquish all control completely. I was led to the right doctors. I prayed my way through that. So I had peace that I was being guided. So for me, I kept a song in my mind. I kept singing, It Is Well With My Soul. That was my song for me that helped me.
I love
I
that.
said prayers and I asked for protection, the angels to surround me, that my soul would be lifted through anesthesia to a nice, safe place. I could learn things while I'm out of body. And I switched
Mm.
something from being so scary and horrific to being an experience that will go past what my thinking can worry about and receive something better. And I think that that really helped me, because as I went into surgery in both cases, I had a complete peaceful calm within me. I had peace. So I think using the techniques of visualization, singing, because sound works. I sing in my head, and I'll tell you, in my head, I sound real good. I don't know how I sound if I would sing it out, but it's calming. It's a frequency. So if we use frequency of prayer and gratitude, and we know we're guided and loved, we can overcome what our lower mind is saying, what our emotional body is yelling, and we can make better choices through our circumstance.
Wow, you really said a lot of things that really made sense. You spoke about sound, how sound is a frequency, and you are absolutely right.
Excuse me.
I remember when I was filled with grief and remorse and angst, I remember just listening to a YouTube song, and it was cello of all things, because I just allowed my higher self, God bless you, to just choose with my eyes closed. And it was and it was called Quiet Beauty. And it was so
Wow.
beautiful. I was listening with my eyes closed just to just kind of like, ah. And the next thing I know, I started crying, first little tears coming down, and then sobbing because I just needed to release. I needed to release the pressure cooking. And this song, this beautiful melody just allowed me to do it. So that's really
Mhm.
powerful about what you were talking about with sound. I'd like to share a story because you're right. I remember talking about brain surgeries. My son had to go for a brain surgery when he was an adult, maybe just a few years ago. And I didn't know if it was the right thing. I got a second opinion, and it was maybe 3 days before. They were conflicting opinions. And I saw my friend Jack Keller, and he said, Deb, he said, first of all, there's storms throughout your life. There's little ones, big ones, medium ones, and it's not your job to control the storm. It's your job to calm yourself because storms always pass. And when he said that, I said, whoa, 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 because that was huge, because it was really about just letting it go and calming myself. Because if I'm all stressed out and I'm freaking out and I'm adding fuel to the fire, I'm not serving as a role model or as an example, and I'm certainly changing my physiology if I'm thinking stinking thinking. But I'm changing my
That is so
physiology
true.
if I'm calm and if I'm calming down. That's right. So we could even do
I
this with
love
our,
what,
go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I love what you're saying. One point is so valid on top of all the valid points. Everything passes.
Yes.
And we have to remember that during chaotic times or anxiety times, that as we find that peace within, this crisis, this moment, this fear, whatever, is going to change. You'll stay strong because it will always move forward. And we can often reflect how many things were upsetting to us that had already been moved through and resolved. So great point, Deb. Great point.
Thank you. Telling yourself it's temporary. That's what I like
Yes.
to say. And there's many simple things that we can do to bring us quickly back into our centeredness, because really it's just it's deep breathing, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
It may be aromatherapy, breathing in lavender. It could be the Bach remedy flowers. I think there's one called stress release. I've used that one a lot. And also tapping.
Yes, like a
They're
hug.
called the butterfly taps. That's right. And anytime we activate our vagal nerve to bring us down, whether it's laughing, thinking about funny moments, smiling, the act of smiling changes our physiology. And it's really just coming back to love, I believe. There's so many friends I have who have differing views than I do. And I told myself, I love you no matter what your views are, because it doesn't matter our politics. What matters is the love that we have for each other. And
Yes.
I've said that a few times, and we've all agreed to just not discuss politics. And that's because our relationship was so much stronger. So,
That's so
anything else
true
that you
because,
want to add?
yes, that's so true because one other thing I can say that I've learned in my life using those techniques that you really well spoke about is that part of gratitude.
Mm,
Seeing the relationship of somebody rather than the circumstance you're stressing in can be really helpful in finding that peace within yourself. You're breaking the energy of conflict with love. I still see you and I still love you. I care
mm,
about you. And even when I was going through my brain surgeries, as I was going into the ORs, I just looked at each person there and I thanked them. Thank you for being here for me. Thank you for doing this for me. And I think it's that connectedness that keeps us more human. Suddenly, I wasn't just a patient, I was connecting. They weren't just a healthcare provider, they were connecting. And I think that's a great valid point for all of us right now with people around us who have different ways of seeing things if we can see the humanness of us again. Good point.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Donna, and thank you everyone for listening. Have a wonderful week. And no matter what happens next Tuesday, know that there's a divine plan. Everything is a teachable moment. Just walk in grace and help your neighbor.
Yeah.
And stay calm. Thank you for watching. Bye now.
Bye.